a demand, he just made 6 demands from the government yesterday after a meeting with the National Peace Commission, and it was headed by the former Abdul Salam and Kuka. It's also captured on the dailies. And top of the list of the demand is the fact that he asked that the federal government unfreeze the accounts of opposition politicians. So the first thing he asked for was that the federal government should unfreeze the accounts of opposition politicians. And he also asked for the militarization of subsequent elections in the country. He asked for that accreditation should take place first before voting in subsequent polls. He also asked that INEC should open its back-end servers to all participating political parties, and that all illegally detained politicians be released. 6 demands there. What do you make of the demands from Atiku?
Just before you answer,
we have Edward.
Edward calling from Ijesha. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah,
hello,
Edward.
good morning, Edward.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Super Dawn.
My contribution is that I don't buy the idea that Atiku should not go to court. Let him go to court and let him do what he wants to do. So we know what to see what the judiciary will say about it. So court is not a place that somebody should not go. Let him go and let's see what he says happen.
All right, thank you very much, Edward.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so you've heard the six demands of Atiku. What do you make of that?
They are not extraneous demands. And as far as I'm concerned, it's also very unfortunate if you have opposition being persecuted in a democratic setting like this. That is why many Nigerians keep losing faith in the system. There is nothing special about opposing you. It doesn't make any difference. Anybody that the government labels as being corrupt, as far as the people are concerned, is corrupt. As you are sitting down here now, doing your journalistic work, awesome, good. The day you venture into politics and you say you want to contest against the government, that same day they will tell you the history of your life in another version and put it right before the public and make everybody to believe that you are the queen of Jezebel. To shock you to your bone marrow that some people will believe it and will consume it as such. So why would government, for example, freeze the account of opposition? For what reason? And you are not freezing the account of your supporters. You are not freezing the account of your party members, but you are freezing the account of opposition. At the end of the day, EFCC will come and tell you we are investigating or that they are corrupt. Okay. You cannot be a judge in your own case. If you think they are corrupt, go to court.
To your hold just a bit. We have a call from Patrick. Patrick calling from Bagada. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome to Super Dawn.
My name is Pastor Patrick Onyejaka.
All right, welcome.
I'm calling from Soli.
Welcome.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, let us allow Atiku to go to court, because this is a broad-day robbery. They are preaching for corruption. How can they do this? The open air, they steal the mandate of somebody. Let him go to court. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Patrick.
But when you look at these demands he just made, it does look like he might have decided that if these demands are met, he is not going to court. What would be the implication of someone like Atiku, who is a big wig in terms of politics, deciding to not go to court when he feels that he has been aggrieved?
The other thing is that I am personally disappointed in the so-called Peace Commission. I am disappointed in them because if this man says, I'm going to court, why are you putting pressure on him not to go to court? If something is not wrong somewhere that you are aware of, why must you put pressure on him? So the issue is, don't forget that Atiku is a politician. Now, if he says, I am going to court, and the federal government is doing everything in terms of propaganda, in terms of pressure, that means something is wrong somewhere. And that is why some of us are like, if you want to go to court, go to court. If for any reason we will hear a lot of information we didn't hear before, at least we will see the pleadings. And they will be obvious to the public, the grounds upon which is, gone into court. And you and I know that it will not become a very big eye-opener. I don't see any reason why Abdul Salam and the cookers and the like would say, don't go to court. When Jonathan said, I am not going to court, why didn't you put pressure on him to go to court? Is court a slaughter slab?
We have Kenneth calling from Bariga. Good morning, Kenneth.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to appreciate God over the man that is telling us the truth. And my prayer is that God will strengthen him the more. This is our country. In fact, I've titled, I've nicknamed Nigeria, who will talk. That's what I nicknamed Nigeria. What happened in this last presidential election, for me, it was too painful. I don't know how to explain it. And then people will still come up and begin to tell us that Nigerians have decided. I feel too pain when some of them, like Olamide, will say Nigeria have decided to vote the person they like and all that. Well, my prayer is that God will intervene in our country so that democracy will stand. We are not practicing democracy. We are not practicing democracy at all. But God will surely intervene. I pray God will strengthen Atiku. Let him move forward. And then even if the whole thing is the turn around, well, he has done his own part. God is watching over my own is the very day of election, I will go out and vote. The people that are supposed to count, that is their couple. If they do whatever they want to do, God is watching everybody. That's my own little contribution. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You were speaking just before Kenneth called, and just speak of where Kenneth stopped, and then you go back to the question. He said that we're not practicing democracy, and he also said Atiku should move on. But the question again is, what is the implication of Atiku not going to court? What does that mean for our democracy and our electoral system?
Well, if Atiku is not going to court because of pressure, it is a minus for our democracy. If it's not going to because of legal advice from his team, are you there with me? It simply means that what he has applied is legal wisdom. I hope you. But if it is on the basis that Father Kuka, Abdul Salam, the peace committee came and put pressure on him, and people are saying, if you go to court, you will not see justice, or you will not have justice, and all those stuff like that, and please don't waste your money, to me, it is a big minus for democracy. And it also means that it's a big question mark for the judiciary as an institution, a very big one. We've been having challenges with the judiciary credibility of late. A lot of judges and justices have been accused of corruption. Remember the case of even some of their houses being boggled into in obnoxious hours of the day and all those stuff like that. That's why I said if Atiku goes to court, it's not going to be as easy as people think. It will put judiciary on the hot spot, very, very hot one, to the extent that, it will not be more or less like we are watching you every step you take. The
political party rejected the result of the election even while the results were being announced. Exactly. We have Success calling from Surulere. Success, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Super Dawn.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, what we are practicing in this country is not true democracy. We are practicing rigocracy. We have some certain group of people sit down in the comfort of their home to decide keenly contested by people. polling unit where I voted, I can also feel the pulse of people around me on that very day. But it's surprising to me what INEC has decided to do. You see, God will intervene in this country. But I beg you to know that, what has happened this time around is an eye-opener to Nigerians to always stand by their vote. There were a lot of intimidations and all that. During this election processing, a whole lot of things went wrong. But only God will intervene. If Atiku goes to court, he is very sure of victory. This is one of the reasons why Onohe was removed. Many people do not know. Because they know, the sitting president know, the sitting government know that if Onohe remains a man of justice, definitely if he loses the election, that Atiku will go to court, and definitely the will of the people will be retrieved from the APC through the court.
Right,
this was one reason why Onohe was removed, and that is why they could not find any reasonable excuses that to say that Onohe is corrupt, he did not declare his assets and all that. All those.
Thank you so much for calling success. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I was going to ask you that the PDP rejected the results of the election even while the results were being announced. What does that tell you? And also look at the demands. One of the demands Atiku made is that INEC should open its back-end servers for participating political parties. What?
Let me.
Okay. Because this election is fraudulent. We look at the cases of disenfranchisement, deliberate manipulation of results by INEC, vote buying, burning of election materials through the ruling party. And we look at the action in Rivers State. The ruling party, the government in power, the agencies, security agencies, and INEC should account for all this. I've never seen election so fraudulent in this present era. So there is need for Atiku to go to court and contest for the results of this election. Everybody knows that the rigging was so obvious. There's no two way about it. Let him go to court.
All right,
and I thank God for the man that has come to buttress this fact. And the lady, the presenter yesterday, I listened to all she presented yesterday. I could see the outcry. This is not acceptable in this present democracy. Let us see.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
You were speaking on the issue of the back-end server, collation of results and polling units.
No, you see, Atiku's position as far as the back-end server is concerned, the collation process is concerned, is to put INEC on the spot of being credible enough, being fair to all parties. To me, that is the normal thing. There's nothing extraneous about that. I'm not expecting INEC to bring up any issue on that. I'm not expecting INEC to bring any issue on that, because we are talking about credibility. You are talking about being fair, and I remember that the issue of credibility came up some time ago when I granted an interview, and I said, look, electoral credibility comes before the election itself. On the election date, you talk about being free and fair. That's all. The issue of credibility, you would have laid the foundation long before then.
All right, just to hold you up again,
we have Joy calling back from Oshodi. Joy, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
All right, welcome. Let's get your contribution.
To me, ever since I have been voting, I've never ever voted in my life. But for this one, I voted because the vote was very clear. Very clear in Oshodi, yes. Do you know how many buses being bought? They did not bring out that one. In Anika Street, Shogule, they did not bring out that one. My mind does not deceive me. Let Atiku go to any length. The truth is being clear. They said they are fighting corruption. They are the one carrying it on their head as if they are carrying a bag of water. I support no party. Jesus is my party. But enough is enough. Let's be wise. We should not allow any man sit in his house and start pointing who we win. Since they know they... So why are they closing down our business for 2 different days? no going out, business shut down. Everybody was running empty scatter. Why? Since they know who is there, they should stop asking us to vote. They should stop paying unnecessary money to INEC.
All right,
thank you so much for calling, Joy.
Joy, thank you.
Joy said something. She said Atiku's fight would be more like is a fight for everyone who voted for him. Do you agree with that statement, that if he refuses to go to court? I mean, with all of the comments we're getting from people who think they voted for him, Emmanuel from Bagada, Joy also saying that, do you think if he doesn't go to court, he would have let down his supporters who say, look, we believe you watch?
No, of course, naturally, that would be the impression, because you are talking about more than 11 million Nigerians. There is no auditorium in this country today that can accommodate 11 million Nigerians at once. So that's to tell you that it is not just a mere figure. You are talking of a figure that on him not to go to court. I don't see any reason. He's not talking about a parallel government. All right, sorry.
We have David calling from Ajawa State. Good morning, David.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
David, can you turn down the volume of your TV set, please?
Yes, sure.
All right, let's get your contribution if you've done that.
Please, what I am saying is this. The rigging is so obvious and everybody knows about it. 1 week before 2 days before the election, everybody heard about the looting of 6 million votes outside of APC. But some hours before the election could be conducted, we heard that the election has been counted. So what I am saying is that Atiku should go ahead and go to court, because this rigging is so obvious. Everybody knows about it. Not all the polling that were casted off. And we know the minimum of people that came out that day to vote. And we are not as large as being called. You know, even in Kano, we know that the people that came out to cast is not even up to thousands. But we heard of APC, millions of voters. The rigging is too much. And even some various videos that have been sent both in WhatsApp, in Facebook, or media, or social media, we saw everything. And by the Nigerians are not practicing anything democracy. We are doing according to what our perfect incumbent power says. So I think Atiku should go ahead.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. You were speaking to the issue of whether he's letting down his supporters or not.
No, to me, it depends on the circumstance that will make him not to go to court if he eventually decides not to go to court. If he's not going to court and is able to convince the supporters that, look, it's because of legal issues or legal impediments based on the advice that he's getting, it's sellable. But if he's saying he's not going to court basically because there have been pressure on him not to go to court, it's a defeatist, very defeatist position, which may also weaken, some people that believe so much in him as a person. So as far as I'm concerned, if he goes to court, good. If he doesn't go to court, I don't lose sleep. I made up my mind right from the word go that whosoever wins presidential election in Nigeria, I will not lose my sleep. Because I've seen the handwriting very clear. Far before the election, I've seen the level of desperacy, the level at which they were preparing, and it was more or less like a do or die affair. You see the level at which
All right, permit us to put you on hold again. We have Innocent calling from Ogudu GRA. Good morning.
Innocent, good morning. Hello.
Hello, Innocent. Good morning.
Hello, Innocent.
Yeah. Asking Atiku not to go to court.
Oh, Innocent, we have to let you go. The line is breaking and we can't hear you very well. And I think Innocent actually is our last call for today because of time. We have to look at the implication of this on the ruling party and the winner of the poll. Now, what happens if the petition or the court nullifies the election or declares Atiku the winner, what will happen? What will happen? Because I'm trying to have a picture of the scenario of what will happen. Do you think they will accept that, or they will go to court themselves?
It depends on the level at which the decision is made. If it's at the court of first instance, since there will still be hope for the ruling party, there will be relative peace. But if it's at the Supreme Court and the election is nullified, I would expect some level of violence and reaction from the ruling party's supporters, which may also be such that it may eventually snowball into some crime that may require military to, come up either to quell the crisis or to take over, depending on the magnitude of such a reaction. So basically, there will be a very tough and stiff reaction from the ruling party if the Supreme Court should say, you are not the, even if it means saying that you are going to have another election, because having another election will not be who is going to be the president. In the meantime, the implication is the Senate president will now eventually become the president, because he can no longer be the president at that time, because it's another tenure entirely. So that's also a very big legal logjam. So these are some major fundamental considerations when it comes to the Supreme Court taking a decision otherwise. So at times you see why, say, when the Supreme Court is a social engineering body and looks at the core implication of the decision they want to take, except it is such that it is overwhelmingly impossible to decide otherwise, they may want to say, let's retain this government.
All right, just before we let it go, we want to hear your advice for Atiku, his political party, and his supporters at this moment.
Well, for me, I think I like Atiku's approach. That is the non-violent approach. I like it. I would only plead with APC, and especially the APC chairman. Don't heat up the policy. So his choice of words are...
All right.
Hello.
All right, Bayo, go ahead if you can hear us. Just go ahead.
Ahead,
right,
we can hear.
We want to say thank you so much, Mr. Tony Ofoyetan, for coming on the program, and thank you for the analysis of, of the issue. Yes, I'm very sure most Nigerians have a picture of the issue at this moment. But we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll be talking sports with Prince Willovesa on the program. Do stay with us.
Superscreen television is now on Star Times, channel 170.